Okay, so the Adam and Eve story is a book that was written by Thomas Chan about the pole shift. And it was has a combination of the laws of the magnetosphere, possibly an impactor, which is like a asteroid that hits Earth, and this wave that goes around the Earth, and the magnetic poles change. We're in the middle of this magnetic pole migration right now. Well, Thomas Chan published this book, and the CIA, he was CIA, and the CIA did not want people to know about this because then they could prepare, like the elite are preparing. So they classified it. And then about 7 years ago, it got declassified. So you can find it at the CIA reading room. That one's heavily redacted. If you go online, there's some other people that actually have the hard copy. Don't try and buy it. It's like between $5,000 and $10,000 a book, if you can even get it at all. Because it was before it was classified, it just they didn't make that many copies. So they declassified it because they felt it's too late for people to try and prepare. Now, how do I know that this was Thomas Chan? Well, then I got to say this part. So then the CIA put out this Hapgood, Charles Hapgood, and he just basically patted everybody on the head and said, oh, nothing to see here, just move along, and got people looking at other things. Now, my husband and I bought an off-grid place at the top of a mountain because that's what we loved in Montana. And what we discovered when we moved up here was all the little cabins around us were CIA. And why? Is because that was the safest place on earth to be if this scenario that Thomas Chan talks about comes true, and it is in the process of coming true. If you can watch Suspicious Observers every morning on the YouTube, and he's got a disaster cycle. I really highly recommend everybody watch. He does 5 minutes every morning, gives a space weather update and some 3 journal articles. And then he does some extras where he tells us a little bit in depth more about the disaster cycle of this whole cycle that we're in, and different ways that you can prepare. So there's actually a community of people that follow this and are prepared to the best of our ability. And so the elite know about this whole situation. That's why the book was classified. They got prepared. They got their bunkers. They're going to remote places like the leeward side of the Rocky Mountains, because what's going to happen is the earth is going to kind of tilt, and this wall of water is going to come from Asia that's about 1,000 feet tall. It's going to slam into Washington, British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, California, wipe it out. It's going to get all the way to about Coeur d'Alene, and it will go airborne at that point, and then smash in on the other side. So you'll be like in the curl. Imagine you're a surfer. You're in the curl on the leeward side, and then it'll go through the plains, wipe the plains out, wipe the south out, wipe the eastern seaboard, and then off to Europe it goes. Yeah, and they say that's why dinosaur bones are not found intact. There's like a bone here, a bone there, and because this wall of water, the last time this happened, this has happened before. And that's how everything was chewed up. And that's also how sea creatures got at the top of mountains. And there's all sorts it answers many of the questions that people go, oh, why did I find a sea creature at the top of this mountain or whatever?